So I think that we can all agree there's no escaping, at least completely, negative emotions, negative people, negative vibes in the world. I mean, we turn on the news and that's their primary product is negative vibes, right? Your fear, your anxiety, all these things. So in our world, we need to learn how to navigate around low vibrational energy, mainly emotions and energy that will eventually lead to some sort of suffering. I think I said this in the High Vibe episode that the Dalai Lama says that we are all the same in a sense as human beings are all trying to add more happiness to their life and less suffering
Yep.
to their life. So I think this is an important episode for us to also explore of how to navigate and handle low vibes.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where you go with this one.
I'm
This
interested
would
to see where
be
you go with this one.
well. I don't think I'll surprise you much, man. To be
No?
honest, no, I don't think so. Um, so first off, what would you say? Like, what do you believe is the purpose of the low vibrations? Why do we even have those?
Yeah. I think life is everything in life is balanced, right? There's dark and light, there's good and evil, yin and yang. And that without the low vibes, there's no contrast for the good vibes.
Yeah.
So really in the low vibes, there's a lot of lessons. There's a lot of lessons. There's a lot of growth. In pain and suffering, there's growth. There's a really great book that I like called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck
Yeah.
by Mark Manson. And in one of the chapters, he talks about how whatever you're doing in your life, there's going to be the shit. He uses the term, it's a pretty vulgar book. So he says, whatever you do, you have to eat shit in life. The thing is that you have to find the shit that you're okay with eating.
Yep.
So if you're essentially what he's trying to say is that there's hard work and monotony in anything that you're trying to achieve. And I think that with that comes low vibes. And what are low vibes, right? It can be anger, fear, jealousy, envy. I think we posted a link to, and it's definitely on our Instagram page of kind of the chart of vibration. If it's not, we'll go back and repost that. But I think the the purpose of low vibes, in a nutshell, is growth. Is growth. To have these low vibrate. That's the purpose, right? However, we don't always do things with purpose and intention. So sometimes the danger of low vibes is sometimes you won't learn the lesson. And sometimes you're just going to circulate and spin in these.
You're going to stay there.
You're going to stay there.
Yeah, and that's funny because I wrote down, to me, the purpose of low vibes is transition. Right? It's transition, it's recharge, it's to create focus. Okay. And I don't think it's necessarily bad to be low vibration. I think it's bad to stay low vibration. And for me, I will tell you, like you just said it today. When we walked in, you're like, dude, you seem so peaceful lately. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, I feel more peaceful. And why is that? Because my kids are kind of finding their way now. They're getting on solid foot. Because I was really worried about, like, what kind of world is there for my kids? Like, are they supposed to go to college, not go to college? Like, what we do? Because for all my life of parenting, I had answers. But all what we're going through now is unprecedented. So I don't have answers either. I'm learning right alongside of them. So I would say for a lot of this past year, my vibration has not been as high as normal. But I think that's okay because I was in transition, right? So like all the stuff I had known and all the stability that had allowed me to have high vibrations for many years, we had taken away through retirement, through kids graduating, kids moving away, the pandemic, the business issues. So I think it was okay to be like not as high vibrational, not as peaceful because everything was moving around me. But I think the issue is when you stay there, right? And I think as we go through this and we talk about people that we resonate, that strike our chord as like, man, that's a low vibration person. Well, at some point in their life, I bet they weren't. Something happened that caused a change, and they never regrouped and bounced back from it. Right? Because you think about it, just like you said, yin and yang, how do I have high vibrations if I never experienced low vibrations?
Right.
And how is just like the one episode we did on toxic positivity. Right? What's genuine positivity is when you see them sometimes they're like, dude, it's a fucking shitty day. And
Yeah.
oh, what, they had a shitty day too? They're human. So to me, that's what the purpose of low vibration is to recharge, to transition, and to focus you.
I like that. I haven't really thought of it as transition. So let me ask you this, Jared.
Mm-hmm.
Does transition always equal growth?
No, sometimes it don't, right? If we're making changes that we know are bad for ourselves, addictions, unhealthy relationships, lack of boundaries, risk without calculating the reward, it doesn't always equal to growth. But the fact you made that transition, gained that experience, if you examine why you did what you did, how you ended up where you ended up, you could eventually have growth. But I don't think it's necessarily inherent that one equals the other. I think it's a process.
Yeah, definitely. You can be transitioning on the upward or downward. Okay.
Or by not growing, you're transitioning. Right? Think about it, if you're not growing, nobody stays the same.
Right.
Right? Like how do a lot of people that were athletic end up so grossly overweight?
Yeah.
Well, they quit working out. And they just didn't go from like, I quit working out on Tuesday and Wednesday, I was overweight. Slowly over time, they weren't growing physically. They weren't growing like how they had been. So they were going backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I think, and that's where I challenge people in today's day and age. There's no status quo. You're never the same.
Right.
You either grew today through experiences, relationships, learning, or you digressed.
Yeah. And I think for everybody, there's always, you kind of have your average baseline, right? Like I'm really grateful to be able to say I consider myself a very high vibrational person. Mm-hmm. For the most part, I'm going to be feeling joy and gratitude and at peace and uplifting those around me. And I like being in that vibration. But like you said, it's a contrast. You know, in my younger years, I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of these low vibrations for many years. And I was able to do things to help me transition into being a more high vibrational person more consistently.
Yeah.
So what do you think about those people that we just, you feel they have this low vibe, negative energy people that frankly that you don't want to be around? We all have those type of people like, oh God, they came in there, we don't want to be around them. For you, are those type of people that you think, people like you and I, people like in our community, that we should try and help lift their vibe? And if so, how do we do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. But I'll preface that question with a question. Is if they're in your life, I would ask, how did they get there?
Okay.
Right? Like, so like for you example, like even last week on Wednesday, I can't remember how it went, but we ended up on a phone call we normally don't do on Wednesdays. Like, I can't remember if I texted you or I just called you out of the blue or you called me. And I was like, what's up? And you were literally like, dude, it's not a good day.
Yeah.
My body's beat down. I don't feel, my energy's low. Like, I don't, right? You were having
low
a low vibe day. And what I tell you? Take the day off, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to come to the gym today. You don't have to go, like, I literally told you, take the day off and go do something with Courtney that she wants to do. Because you've been spending so much time away from her getting ready for the fight with all the business stuff. And then later that night, you're back to where you were.
Yeah.
But I think that is a microcosm for how this works, right? Like on a day you're not feeling good, you talk to somebody that helps you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just sit and push everybody away. You don't sit and isolate and let Wednesday become Thursday and Thursday become Friday. And that's the transition I'm talking about. The low vibe is okay. It's just not okay to stay there for long periods of time.